Welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Pulse, or Kairo in Japanese, the Japanese original. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. I'm your host, Milo Sipka, and join me as I take you into the wild world for science fiction, action, and horror, all from my personal collection. Now, in this episode, we do the film Kairo, that's Japanese for Pulse, the Kiyoshi Kurosawa original from 2001. Now, this was released in Australia for Eastern Eye, which was a subsidiary of Madman Entertainment that specialized in Asian source films, most prolific during the Asian ghost story boom of the 2000s. Now, as for the story, taking the occasion to visit her mysteriously absent friend Taguchi, Michi Kudo arrives at his apartment to obtain a computer disk for work purposes, only to find him dead from hanging himself. The disk contains some rather strange images of Taguchi's room that Michi and her friends don't seem to understand. Meanwhile, economics student Karashima signs up to the internet at home but finds himself accidentally accessing a strange website showing dead people and the message, "Do you want to meet a ghost?" Soon Michi and Kirishima and their respective friends find themselves stuck in a dangerous situation as an abandoned building that has been used by ghosts as an alternative to the afterlife is torn down, causing the spectral beings to take over the world and cause anybody they come into contact with to commit suicide and prevent being dissolved into ash. If there's any wind shear, because I'm doing this outside, you might hear some wind shear. Now, Kiyoshi Kurosawa is a filmmaker with something of a minor cult following, having been active since the very late 80s. In 2001, he decided to make his own entry into the Asian ghost story fad that was big at the time after the successes of Hideo Nakata's Ring Cycle and the Ju-on films from Takashi Shimizu, which Kurosawa served as a technical consultant on. The resulting entry, Kairo, known in English as Pulse, has become a big hit among this fad and was the biggest hit Kurosawa ever had. It should be pointed out that Kurosawa is not exactly what the average genre reviewer would refer to as mainstream. The film is essentially a meditation on the inherent loneliness of youth in Japanese society, although many Western viewers might transpose the story to their own lives to reflect their own loneliness. I didn't exactly have a problem with this, but I did get surprised at how this art house flick somehow managed to get a huge release around the world, and some enthusiastically positive reviews, and the actual horror content is very subdued to say the least. This is pure art house tedium, and I don't quite understand where all the buzz is coming from. Pulse never comes close to matching the all-out fear factor that Ju and the Grudge had, or even the couple of good shocks that Ring delivered. Although, to be fair to Kurosawa, he does instill a good dose of heavy atmosphere that goes a fair way in keeping things going along in a spooky manner. This is why I gave the film a C+, 5 out of 10 instead of a C. Although there are a number of creepy shots of people suddenly appearing in empty spaces, and the sheer randomness of the social apocalypse at the end does have a certain unnerviness to it. The US trailer features a shot of what appears to be a ghost woman pulling a black plastic bag off her head, but in reality this is a bit of a cheat since the character is not a ghost, although I won't spoil it for you because it does have a surprise outcome and effect. From what his other films before and since have shown, Kiyoshi Kurosawa is a director who likes to make cryptically abstract films, and pretty much let the audience's minds do the heavy lifting in terms of understanding the story. Although for most of us, trying to get a grip on this story is like sorting 10 years worth of tax returns messed up after a tornado has just hit an accountant's office. Some people might be able to gain something out of this in a different interpretation than others, but overall this is just one of those films whose great merit lies in the viewer using their imagination to come to their own conclusions, rather than something that has to be spell everything out for you. In that regard, the film was passable enough. But the main problem I had with this was the dull pace. Anybody who has a short attention span will be unable to withstand the 114 minutes in PAL format running time, since the admittedly mild shocks are just too far apart, and the lack of cohesion the script has in forming its internal mythology. In fact, the 2006 remake that I covered a few episodes ago actually pretty much does the plot a lot better. Wes Craven tied up all the loose ends. Only problem with the remake was that it was just the director assigned to the project just really messed it up. Now for the gore report, there are some deaths, including at least 3 gnarly-looking suicides, particularly the young woman who jumps off a tall building and the camera following her fall all the way to the ground. Ouch. I should also point out that on most DVD releases, the scene where the large cargo plane at the end crashes into the building had its audio removed and replaced with a score as a sort of gesture to the victims of September 11, 2001. The Australian DVD from Madman's subsidiary Eastern Eye has the original audio intact. So purists want this DVD for that, although I've heard from others who have a compromised version that the compromise actually works far better in terms of atmosphere. It is a bit surreal watching a plane crash in virtual silence with only the musical score playing. So it really depends on what you want to hear. In fact, actually, I watched it for a little experiment. I watched that scene on silent, with my TV on silent, and it actually does have a sort of effect. Now, there's no nudity in this film. So the verdict is that Pulse pretty much gets a C+, 5 out of 10. A passable Japanese ghost story that relies on some seriously heavy interpretation on the part of the viewer for them to get by. And I think most of the enthusiastic reviews, positive reviews, of people who got who got a more effective spin out of it than I did. Do not watch this film if you're one of those short attention span types or somebody who doesn't like to think too much during watching, since if you switch your brain off, you pretty much go into a coma on this one. Now, as for the DVD, this Australian DVD Pulse comes to you courtesy of Eastern Eye, a specialist subsidiary of Madman Entertainment that handles local releases of Asian-sourced films and pretty much every Asian ghost story release so far in Australia. The film comes in a 178 aspect ratio, or for the full pictures in 169. You can see this if you use the zoom function on some DVD players. In fact, on my new 24-inch TV in my room, bedroom, it actually has a zoom function, so I can zoom out and measure the exact aspect ratio. In fact, most films that come like in a widescreen format actually have a little bit bigger picture and so the player actually zooms in a little bit. The picture is in good condition, but the problem is that it looks like it was shot on video. Well, either that or the Japanese film stock is inferior to that from other countries. I've seen a few Japanese films, and this one just looks weird. The resolution of that, it looks like a really like a video release. Anyway, there is a bit of grain visible, but this is almost negligible in effect. The soundtrack comes in Japanese 5.1 in stereo, so if you want a stereo track, you're in luck. There are English subtitles, which are mostly yellow but turn white to signify on-screen text being translated. Now, the supplement is fairly mild compared to standard English language releases, but it's pretty decent compared to other J-horror or Asian ghost story films. There's a behind the scenes that runs for 38 minutes, and it's one of those shot in the set featurettes that some amateur electron perovskite techs might do. There are also trailers for the film, original theatrical, US theatrical, and a couple of teasers, and a stills gallery that moves itself along without you doing anything. And as for that US trailer, it mentions that Kiyoshi Kurosawa was one of the original masters of horror, Japanese horror, and that is quite true. He was making films since 1989. In fact, there was a film made in 1989 called Sweet House, or Sweet Home, or Retribution, or something like that. It was basically like the Japanese version of Poltergeist. Anyway, there are also free previews for other J-horror films included here, as well as an Easter egg showing the DVD credits. To access it, go to the Extras menu, scroll down to Madman Trailers, and then press right. A speech bubble will appear on the screen saying, "Hey, you look a little blurry." Press it again to see the reply, which is called Design Idiots. Press right a third time to activate the egg, which is the status screen DVD's technical crew credits. Now that's it for this review of Pulse Kairo, and enjoy your day.